audience, you're listening to the discussion aisle, and I'm your host Subh only on Plant FM 87.6. And dear audience, as always, we are today with a special guest who's joined our station, and we will be talking on a special topic that is about intolerance and what are the relationships that we are keeping these days, and how we can maintain harmony, peace, and tolerance among these relations. And of course, on your special channel that is Plant FM 87.6. And dear audience, once again, we've been joined by Dr. Arslan Akhtar Ali, and he's a clinical psychologist and a renowned one, very eminent personality, and he has been to many national and international fora just depicting and representing Pakistan and his own talent, that how he is just maneuvering all these psychological things, and especially how he's just dealing along with his patients. And meanwhile, he's written many theses and articles in many international journals. So today we are going to discuss about intolerance and how we can keep relations peacefully, harmonized way, and especially how we can just have that substance of variance among us. Very warm welcome to the show, Dr. Arslan Akhtar Ali. How are you today?
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. And what about you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm also fine. And once again, in this today is much pleasant weather, and but we have just witnessed a bit scorchy, heaty wave before a couple of weeks. But right now, a good weather, and in a pleasant day, we are here along with our audience. Just want to know that about, as we have just announced about our topic, that is intolerance, and how we can maintain good relationships, how we can keep peace, harmony, and some good emotional beats among our relations. So my basic question is that why we are becoming much intolerant these days? What are the main factors?
That's a very great issue in this society. Firstly, we need to talk about at the grassroots level, which is the micro institution, that is family. Now, parents need to understand that the needs of the children, which is Generation Z, has been changed.
Agree.
Now, there's a social media bombardment of information, soft porn. It's a soft porn, and there are a lot of information and propagandas. So our youth is exploited, and when we talk about tolerance, we need to understand it firstly. It's a fair and unbiased attitude towards other, even though if you are not agreed upon some statement. And intolerance is that when you get biased towards someone else's freedom.
Right.
Now what's happening is that social media is providing this youth the whole of opportunity. Our parents are not enough capable of controlling the internet because they are from the previous generation and they are not improving themselves as per the need of the society.
Right.
For example, when I was born, there was no mobile phone in Pakistan and there was no Facebook. And now my child has been born, and he has been born with iPhone and with iPad and all of those technologies, Facebook, social media, TikTok, all of those social medias.
Exactly.
Now, if I don't know about all of this stuff and all of the prevailing societal changes, and I'm living in a Prochuska traditional society, then I would not be able to teach my child. You know what? Parents are not aware about it, that there are so many psychological personality disorders which the children can have at the age of 3. And they take it on a very serious note, on a very easy note, sorry. For example, a mother called me and told me that her daughter is very stubborn, and it's a very minor case, please solve it out. I said, it's a case of a child psychologist. Might be she's suffering from ODD, which is ODD is obedient defiant disorder. So obedient defiant disorder can be in your child. It can be OCPD, Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder. Now when these children are growing up and taking the wrong and false information from these mediums which are not credible, then there is a freedom of expression beyond the limitations. You can just put the nose and cross your limits without being thinking of being threatened. For example, if I hate you and I'm physically weaker than you, I can go to my home and sit at my seat and I can write bad things about you. You can do nothing about me.
Exactly.
So this is how now this generation being uncontrolled on the internet is now using the internet in the wrong means and wrong manners and exploiting, and these are exploiting themselves, and all of the industries, the big B's and all of those big industries are exploiting this generation, and so that's why they're becoming very intolerant towards each and everything. Our generation is more concerned about the rights, but not and less about the responsibilities. It's very important. So the intolerance is increasing because when you are not being able to balance between the responsibilities and the rights.
You're much right. And what are the main factors? Like one of the main factors is social media consumption, and you have rightly mentioned about the bombardment of information, and even we can't consume every kind of information, and especially with the advancement of small reels, shorts, and all other things that have been introduced. Most of the studies, they are saying that these are very much harmful when you have a very short span of time and you are consuming a large amount of data or videos in your mind. Why is that so?
Let me guide you. Like if I talk about the Harvard University research, which has been conducted recently, they have really bashed Pakistan and the government of Pakistan as well in terms of all of the phenomena prevailing in the Pakistani society right now. The reason is that when you are getting the wrong information from the wrong source and you have nothing to do, for example, like you have different needs and you come to your parents and you want to share it with your parents, but your parents are not realizing it. And now now it's a cross-cultural communication. So everybody wants freedom. And now if you're going to limit and control your children, they will definitely not get control. Now they want freedom, and now they prefer freedom over values as well. So that's why they are finding escape routes. They don't have any escape routes. For example, if I talk about, I should talk about the government of Pakistan haven't done to educate this youth. You have a traditional education system and you go to school, you have same books, and now IQ doesn't matter, intelligence quotient doesn't matter. Still our parents are sitting in the parents-teacher meeting and asking like, why you have cut the 2 marks of my child? It doesn't make a difference. If he gets failed or she gets failed for the 1,000th time, that doesn't matter. Education system is a fraud in modern era. It's just a way of a mean of earning money.
Exactly.
Your child needs high IQ, intelligent quotient, and we also call it emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, and your child needs his cognitive abilities to be trained in a different manner. Information is already available in a very, very fascinating manner than these schooling systems. When children are not being able to survive in their schools. For example, now these children don't want like if a teacher is coming and saying cut your hairs. They say like it's my personal matter. If I have a long hairs or short hair, and that's right. Like if they want to have some personal freedom, then they should do it. So if it's not hurting anyone, so definitely when these school systems are not being able to fascinate them, then their parents are not being able to understand them, then only thing which left is the mobile phone which they had in their hand. And when they go over there, they form emotional relationships, and the other partner who is talking to them is also emotionally unstable. Then they share each other worries and cross the personal spaces and get into trouble. And from there, intolerance increased.
And what should be the role of parents?
I think so. There's a lack of exposure. They need to understand that. Our parents need to understand that your child doesn't have exposure. For example, if I haven't got married, I don't know that the marriage is the relationship of responsibility more than love.
Exactly.
And it's more of respect. It's paying bills. Now, I don't know. When I was not married, I used to take it as a fantasy world. I used to watch TikTok videos and all of those Bollywood songs. When I got married, it's a very beautiful relationship because I'm responsible.
Exactly.
So if I'm not responsible, I don't know how to manage my relationship, then it would be a very disastrous one. And that's why divorce rates are increasing as well. So parents need to give that exposure to their children by giving them the by limited freedom, but not so limited. For example, if the children want to share something with them, then they must be friendly with them. That the children, for example, if a girl is in the university and found a boy and fall in love with someone, then she should come back and say, Dad or Mom, I am in love with someone and this is the guy. So they can guide about these kind of phenomena and concepts to their daughter and son. They must be much open. For example, if a son or a daughter is becoming mature and adult, they must be enough mature to tell that I'm being exposed to porn and I'm like I'm doing something which is not good. So they can easily share all of these things with their parents so they can guide them. My mother guided me regarding all the adult stuff as well. That's why I don't watch porn. I don't do anything else till now, because she guided me at the right time, because I was being able to share that my hormonal changes are disturbing me now. So if we are not being able to share all of these things with our parents, then we would not be able to get exposure, and then we would not be able to learn from the right source, and that's why then we will become intolerant due to lack of exposure and lack of values. So this is how things are happening in society.
You're much right. And from the grassroots level, what do you think? What should be the elements that need to be adopted by the parents and even from the education institutions to guide every kind of student or teenager, so that they could become more mature and they could become more responsible in the future?
It's a very great question. Whenever you write an application, we write with due respect. When a child is born, he is respect worthy,
Right.
and parents need to respect that child as well. Parents want to force their parenthood on their children. Firstly, this is wrong. Tell them that you are also important, not to label them with the words. Now, it's not that era where you will label your child with someone and he will just enjoy it and say, it's my parents and I will just pay away. No, don't label them. Treat them with respect. And now what they can do is that they can guide them as per their age. For example, if they need to make them responsible. You cannot control. Like even in marriage relationships, now a husband can control his wife. Neither wife can control his husband. It's a relationship of trust.
Right.
And that same relationship is needed between parents and children as well. When that trust level would increase, then the parents would be guiding the child and not controlling him or her. Let me give you an example how values are created. During my bipolar, I started smoking cigars. And once my mom, when she was alive, like she recently died in January, so 2024. So it was a great loss for me as well. So my mother was cleaning my room and she opened my cupboard and there were a series of cigars. So what she did is that she called me. I was very afraid. I said, like, today I'm caught it red-handedly. So she told me one thing. She said, like, if you are enough mature, if you want to smoke these cigars, you can do it. It's totally up to you. But do you think you have such kind of caliber? You're much more than that. It's up to you. And you can do it openly. She made me responsible to take my own decision. And from that day, I didn't even touch any cigar or even cigarette as well. And things happened a lot in my life. But I knew that my mom made me responsible. We don't want to make our children responsible because we don't want to trust them. We want to control them, which is not good. For example, let me give you another example how you can make your children responsible. When you will make your child responsible, he will ultimately become tolerant.
Agree.
My mother used to have money. She never hid her from anyone. She used to place that money in the hall and we never touched it. Why? Because she told me one thing, I trust you. Now she is giving me the responsibility that the money is still in the hall and not in the lockers, and I trust you. And if I will break the trust, then I am losing my responsibility. Exactly. Then I will be more mature, that I need to be responsible, somebody is trusting me. And that's what we need to do from the grassroots level. Our education system, I'm sorry to say, is a fraud. You can see the Islamabad, there are private schools in the houses. A school system is not something about books anymore. It's about it's a social institution where children of different ethnicity, different point of views gather together, and there's a teacher who is going to guide them how to live within harmony and how to learn from each other.
Right.
Books are nothing nowadays. And you can get all of the information in a better way in online, free of cost.
Right.
But now, and there must be school grounds. For example, a school must have a football ground, cricket ground, badminton, where they can learn sports from professional coaches. A school which is open on 2-bedroom house can provide anything else.
Exactly.
And the teachers who are themselves in Pakistan, when nobody gets any else job, they become teacher. And they become lecturers and professors. I'm sorry to say, I have been in a university and know what is the caliber of the professors as well in Pakistan. They gossip much and they talk about researchers at a very less level. And they pay to publish their research papers. So what happened is that, like, these teachers who are struggling in their career, or the government teachers, for example, who are not being able to fulfill their own financial needs, have been dealing so much lecturers, professors, government teachers who have been suffering from mental issues. So they lost their mind and they then flow their negative energy and aggression towards their student. And I have been affected by that as well. One of my students, after so many years, commented on the YouTube. He said, "You have become a doctor? You know what you did to me? I was at the peak of my bipolar. I was not getting any job and I became the teacher. And I did the same thing which these traditional teachers were doing by that time. So I used to get aggressive in my manic episode, and I used to get very down in my depressive episode. I used to flow my negative energy to them. Like I was a very extra vagabond in my initial years of my life. So he wrote it, and I started crying. I said, like, Arslan, what you have done with that child? Like, you have came so far, and he's still hurt. And I wrote a comment reply. He said, like, no, you will not reply me. I said, I will definitely reply you. I said, that was my past, and every saint has a past, and I'm so sorry that my past has hurt you. And I'm sorry to everyone to whom who was part of my past. But my present is great, and you can become part of my present. I'm more welcome to rehab you if I've hurted you. So you need to take the responsibility.
Exactly.
Like, but if I will go to my teacher and will say the same thing, he will say, like, you are an idiot, you have came after so many hours, so many years, and now you're telling me that you have been hurt. There are so many teachers in Islamabad, they have hurted me at my peak of my bipolar. Now they have academies, and now they are working in universities, but they will never listen to it. So teachers must have their psychological tests. There must be psychological supervision of the teachers as well. That the teaching profession must be licensed in Pakistan so they can guide the children. There is a future in the hands of the children. For example, if the lowest educated people are teaching your youth, even the highest qualification is needed to teach the youth, because whatever you will bring in the youth, they will take it throughout their whole lives.
Exactly.
And how you can, on a primary school certificate, you can after matric the teachers do PCT, I think so, primary school certificate, and they start teaching the youth.
Exactly.
It's more about books. We need a CSS officer, the teacher who has a broad vision.
Right.
I'm telling you, the qualification must be competitive when you are teaching a child. In foreign countries, the highest qualification is needed to teach the children.
Exactly.
Because their minds are not mature, and you will help them. I can name so many teachers who have made me a human. Madam Salma, he met me at 7th standard, and he treated me like a mother. And he helped me to become a man. I still remember Madam I just wrote Saima. She treated me like a child. And now there were teachers who made me a beast as well, who made me rebellious as well. So these teachers have the power to impress anyone. What Madam Salma did was she impressed me with her character. She put her trust in me. She made me responsible. Arslan, I trust you. I lost 35 speech competitions. She came and she said, if even the whole school is against you, 36 speech competition would be led by you. I trust you. And then there came a time when my communication skills are so high that I don't need to give speeches on the stage or to prepare for them. I'm a good public speaker already. I have a trust.
Right.
I haven't prepared for this interview.
Exactly. You're much right. And indeed, that teacher play a marvelous role.
Exactly.
Whether they can build your character or even they can just destruct your character. And you're much right that that's why we call teachers that they are the spiritual parents. And if they guide you in the right pathway, then you can excel in your life. And in other case, there will be devastation and destruction, no doubt. And as we were just talking about the teenagers, what do you think that in relations, how we can maintain relations, how we can have the substance of tolerance, peace and harmony and even love and respect, how we can create all these things?
It's very simple but very complex.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you about something like due to the emergence of soft porn. I'm again using this term again and again because whenever you're using Facebook or TikTok and the ads appear unwantedly and they direct you towards the hard porn. Firstly, we need sexual tolerance. Our youth has energy, but they don't have any challenge, any channel to channelize their energy in the positive sense. Then what they do is that they become sexually intolerant. Every relationship is built on values, respect, and those values are derived from your androgen. And when you are sexually you're tolerant, then you are being able to respect other person's values. You are being able to understand that this is the relationship of respect. Now, what really happens is that if I talk about parents and children, if the parents have shown the behavior, for example, it's a very famous proverb that your son will not follow your advices. Your son will follow your character. after the birth of my son, I have stopped using abusive words, even to my clients as well. Never used it with my wife, but I used to use it with my clients who were illiterate and are not educated well, and they used to make me irritated. So now I have lowered down my voice. Whenever I talk in my home, I make it sure that Nehan is not getting any negative impact. I feel I have started practicing patience, so my son could understand that his dad was doing that. So I would be proud of myself that I practically did it for my son. So, for example, I have started respecting my wife even at a larger context. So when you will create this example, practical example in front of your son and daughter, then your son and daughter will ultimately follow it. And now what you can, in relationships, for example, if your partner is angry, I always tell a lot of clients that, for example, if your husband is not in a good mood, if your wife is not in a good mood, firstly you need to teach your children that apart from gender, respect is ultimate.
Exactly.
So if female also has a respect element, male also has a respect element. And a relationship is something when you share your weaknesses with each other, so you don't have to tell the word that you are weak. And then you become strong while working with each other, and then you show the world that I have a person who's standing beside me. So I have a weak sides as well, but my wife knows it. If I have to cry, I don't need any other woman. My wife is enough for me.
Exactly.
Today I was sad. I called my wife. I said that today I'm angry. I'm not angry, I'm sad. And I told her that I'm facing harassments, online harassments, and she guided me, don't worry. So don't put blames in relationships.
Exactly.
If you have some problem, then share it with respect. Now I have a problem, and I will say after getting married to you, I have started facing online harassment, and you are the reason behind it. No, she is respectable. It's not her fault.
Exactly.
So we instead of talking our university level, instead of negotiating, we argue much more. For example, there was a debate: is Islamophobia, co-education is halal or haram, and we used to start argumentations with each other. Put your point forward. If somebody want to accept it, okay. If you learn something new, accept it. So it's your point of view. That doesn't mean you are right 100%. So what you need to do is that even if you're arguing with your partner, stay in your limits. Not to use the abusive words, not to increase your voice.
Exactly.
And please always negotiate. And if someone is not understanding, then give him some personal space. Whatever happens is that if your wife is in an anger mode, then listen to her, because she is your wife.
Exactly.
And she is respect worthy, because she has left all of the word and chosen you. Who are you? You're not a hero. And if you are a hero, you're a hero in your own books. And she could have easily managed to marry someone else as well. So she is now under your nikah, and which is more than anything else.
Exactly.
So she is your friend, she is your partner. So I will quickly wind it up while saying that you just stay quiet. Every time you don't need to go into who is right and who is wrong.
Exactly.
A relationship is more important than being right and wrong. For example, once I was talking to a female psychologist, my wife got it wrong. She thought that I am into an extramarital affair. So she started she was into a very furious just cheating me and all of that stuff. For 1 hour she was into that mode. But I knew that she loves me. That's why she is getting jealous. So, but I then later on I told her that there's something, it's not like that. If I would have started that you are just doing character assassination and you're putting blames on me, then this would have increased, and this can have lead to divorce as well.
Exactly.
Similarly, if your husband is not good and not having a good day, he came back home and he is rude, obviously don't ever go for physical violence or verbal abuse. But if he is rude, then please stay quiet.
Stay quiet.
After when he will be calmed down, he will, if he was a man of words and values, he will say sorry to you. So this is how things happen. We want to win and we want to compete in relationships. Relationships are about to understand each other.
Yeah.
And that's where we are losing our tolerance, and divorce rates are increasing in Pakistan.
You're much right, and indeed what a beautiful message that we need to have tolerance, we need to respect each other, and we need to show that how we can love and how we can understand. Whenever we say that if we want a successful marital relation, then what is the main key? The key is respect, the key is understanding. If you are understanding your partner, then inshallah your life will become something out of the world, like you are living in a paradise. But if you're not understanding that, then of course it will be help for you and for everyone that are connected with your relationship. With this, dear audience, of course, Dr. Arslan Akhtar Ali was with us, and he was sharing his views on this important topic. And he has always narrated every problem and everything that is just connected with the psychological issues, very much in a very extensive, informative manner. And thanks so very much, Dr. Arslan, for being with us and sharing your views. And with this, dear audience, we are as running short of time. Allah Hafiz, fi amanillah, and stay blessed.